performance and much more. Let's get right to CNN political director David Chalian. David, two things sure stand out in this new poll. One, the economy, a top priority, and two, Americans disapprove of President Biden's handling of this more than ever before.
Yeah, and those two things together spell a tough political environment for Democrats, the president and his party. Take a look here. Most important issue, it's by far, Jake. 50% of people in this poll say the economy is the most important issue facing the country. Russia-Ukraine war at 14%, immigration at 10%, everything else in single digits. We should note this poll was completed just before that bombshell news from the Supreme Court on abortion. Biden's handling of that number one issue, only at a 34% approval rating on the economy, 66% disapprove, and that number there, Jake, that's been going down since our poll earlier this year. He was at 37% approval on the economy. Now he's down to 34%. And in terms of Biden's policies, look at this. A majority of Americans in this poll, 55%, say Biden's policies have actually worsened economic conditions. 26% no effect. Only 19% of Americans in this poll say Biden's policies have improved conditions.
And David, because of the economy, more Americans say they are buying less, according to the poll.
Yeah, we talk about this all the time. The economy is how people feel it in their everyday lives. Look at this, 63% of respondents say they're buying fewer groceries. Same say they've cut non-essentials out of their lives. 55%, a majority, delaying purchases. 54% cutting back on driving. You can see how Americans, majority of Americans, have changed the way they operate day to day because of inflation.
What about the president's overall job performance? Where does he stand there?
Yeah, I mean, these economic numbers are keeping his approval rating where it's been, which is a low 40s here. 41% approval in our poll, 59% disapproval. And Jake, look at how that 41% stacks up among his modern era predecessors at this point in their presidency. Joe Biden's down here at the bottom of the heap with Donald Trump and Jimmy Carter, two one-term presidents, where his approval rating is right now at this point in the presidency, Jake.
Rogers hired a hitman, shot me twice and left me for dead. We have to nail this guy, Eric.
Yeah, we do. We do it my way this time.
That's right. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone, where I learned this truth from. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. This is your brother Malakia. Alright, just going into the economy, man. And you know, and what we seeing happening is the fall of Babylon. Alright. I'm gonna start off right into it. The book of Proverbs, and this is in the New Living Translation, the NLT. It says a person who gets ahead by oppressing the poor or by showering gifts on the rich will end in poverty. All right, so we're seeing Babylon being weakened. All right, and now Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is bringing the judgment upon his riches. All right, a lot of the people in America are against Biden, after they voted him in, and they seeing what he's doing. He's bringing heavy losses, all right, to their money, man. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's a sleepy Joe, man. He's falling asleep. All right, he's through. All right, and this is going to get worse and worse as we see all these different stories. The stock market has been taking major hits.
What does it feel like to sell your car to Carvana?
People haven't been talking about the stock market, man, but the stock market has been plummeting.
It feels too good to be true.
The U.S. economy has hit a speed bump. April was the worst month for investors since March 2020's pandemic panic. CBS's Michael George is on Wall Street outside the New York Stock Exchange with more. Michael.
Adriana, good evening. Today, Berkshire Hathaway CEO Warren Buffett blasted Wall Street bankers for turning the market into a, quote, casino with rampant speculation speculation. His remarks come at the end of a tough month for investors and new fears over the economy. Stocks plummeted on Friday. The Dow sinking nearly 3% and the Nasdaq off 4%. Amazon suffered its worst trading day in nearly 16 years. And Apple says global supply chain issues will cost them billions. Consumers are also feeling the pocketbook pinch. 401ks losing thousands in value. This as inflation drives up prices for food, rent, and gas, forcing many to cut back.
Not eating out as much, cutting back on coffee.
Next week, the Federal Reserve is expected to raise interest rates, hoping to cool inflation. Higher rates for credit cards, mortgages, and car loans will follow. Former Federal Reserve Board member James Wilcox believes the rate hikes are a necessary step.
The economy, on average, does better when we have a much lower, more predictable, almost negligible inflation rate.
But it's not all bad news. Demand for workers is high nationwide. Unemployment is down and wages are up. Are consumers willing to spend money right now?
Yes, they are willing to spend, and in part because the job market is strong.
And today, Buffett also warned Americans against treating the stock market like gambling, saying Wall Street makes money one way or another. Adriana?
All right, Michael George, thank you.
All right, and all this is spoken of in the scriptures. This happening. All right, this economy crisis that Yahweh Shem Yahushua is bringing.
The U.S. economy slowed down over the first 3 months of the year, the first time it has contracted since the pandemic brought it to a screeching halt.
It's like he's bringing all these things about. All right. And, hey, when this happens, we should be looking up, man. You know, 'cause we know that hey, the Lord is about to return. All right. Our redemption is near. All right. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 21 and verse 6. It says, wealth created by a lying tongue is a vanishing mist and a deadly trap. All right. And the wealth that was created here, okay, was all off of rape, robbery, lies, murder. All right. And Yahweh Shem Yahushua is doing just exactly as the scripture said he was going to do. All right. And going down to verse 10, it says, evil people desire evil, their neighbors get no mercy from them. All right, so as we see the rich getting richer, all right, the people at the bottom, all right, are complaining. As you see, people are saying that they're going out to eat less, they're having less luxuries, all right, which we know that you shouldn't want to, you know, live in luxury anyway, all right, because as the scripture says here, book of Proverbs 21 and verse 17, those who love pleasure become poor. Those who love wine and luxury will never be rich. All right, so you can't set your eyes on these things in Babylon. And now, you know, we seeing even Jake, they're going to be affected by this. The stock market is getting worse and worse, meaning more crime, all right, more robberies, more follow home robberies, and there's less safety in Babylon. This is going to be a domino effect to the destruction of Babylon. All right. And going up to verse 13, it says, those who shut their ears to the cries of the poor, which is Esau, Edom, mainly. All right. And as well as these other nations too. All right. Because they rule just like Esau. All right. No mercy at all. It says they will be ignored in the time of their need. All right, so they're going to starve out. All right, as this thing gets worse, Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to bring judgment upon the rich. That's why in the book of James, James the 5th chapter, right, it says, "Look here, you rich people." All right, which is Esau, Edom chiefly. All right, the main person that was given, all right, the earth is the wicked. All right, we know the book of Malachi speaks of Esau being wicked. All right, we have wicked Israelites as well, but Esau is chiefly the wicked of the scriptures. It says, weep and groan with anguish because of all the terrible troubles ahead of you. All right, so it's about to be some terrible, terrible troubles. And the so-called white man is about to weep, all right, because he's not used to going without. All right, Jake, we used to being at the bottom, you know. I know growing up, man, my family, man, we didn't have a lot, so we used to, we used to have to drink Kool-Aid, drink water, with sugar, man, sugar water, man, if we wanted some flavor every now and then. We used to have to drink water out the sink at times, live off of peanut butter sandwiches, cup of noodles, all right, things that a slave would have to live off of, all right, but we are yet in our captivity, all right. It says your wealth is rotting away and your fine clothes are moth-eating rags. Your gold and silver have become worthless. The very wealth you were counting on will eat away your flesh like fire. This treasure you have accumulated will stand as evidence against you on the day of judgment. And that's very much so true about Babylon the Great, because Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to use the wealth of Esau as a testimony against him, because he built the city, off of lies, all right, and Yahweh Shem Yahushua, all right, is going to judge Esau for what he's done, all right. This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, and verse 6. It says, shall not all these take up a parable against him, all right, and this is a parable. Babylon the Great, all right, bloody city, all right, that we standing on, all right. It says, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long? And to him that ladeth himself with dead clay, with that debt, all right, and we get that word, all right, because that clay is that debt that's adding up, that's going to sink Babylon ultimately, all right, as he's buying all of these weapons of war. All right, he's neglecting, something that you would think would be common sense, using the reserve oil. All right, he's going to sink this entire place. All right, this is heavy debts. All right, wedge of pledges. All right, we know Esau never pays off his dues. Jake will tell you about the 40 acres and a mule. All right, that he had promised. All right, that he never gave. All right, and this is the book of Nahum, chapter 3 and verse 1. Woe to the bloody city, it is full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not, and we are the prey. All right, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the prey in Babylon, and they preyed upon us for many years. All right, but Yahweh Shem Yahushua is finally bringing this thing to an end. All right, and we're watching Babylon. This is not the first time the economy has suffered in Babylon, all right, but we know that this is going to be the time that Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to sink Babylon's economy, all right, because we see these other prophecies coming to pass, and this thing is fitting in a perfect timing, all right, for the destruction of Babylon, man. And brothers have been, chanting down Babylon, the elders for decades and decades, all right. Me just walking into this faith, I've been doing the same as well. So we know that, Yahweh Shem Yahushua is making do, all right, on what his word would be, all right, in the book of Numbers. This place is built off of bloodshed of the Israelites, mainly the northern kingdom. Hey, but you have some the southern kingdom that was affected too, all right. This is the book of Numbers, chapter 35 and verse 33. It says, so ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. All right, so this land will not be cleansed until Esau is put away, until he's utterly wasted by Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right, so as well as his economy falling, all right, his destruction follows right after, man. All right, so we just got to keep watch on this economy, man, because Yahweh Shem Yahushai is about to bring more and more judgment upon Babylon. All right, just a quick update. Hey, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Shalom.